Hey, how you doing? Welcome to another session here. Good afternoon. If you're in the West African zone, good morning. If you're in the US, or good evening, depending on what time zone you're joining us. It's another time here, another time to spend this time together and read a book, right? It's a book club, right? We're in a fifth book in the series, and it's Bethenny Frankel's book we're on to right now, right? Our business is personal, right? We started on chapter 7 last week. Today, we're going to close out chapter 7 of the book. And we did the first part of it. And we're going to do here the second part. The lighting here is not that good, so I got to use my glasses. To start, let's look at this summary section she had in the middle of the book, following where we stopped last week. And it's what she calls B-Smarts. She puts some stories in to emphasize the point that she's making. And the title she has here is Your Life is Like a Chain, and says our life is like a chain. And what she means by that is that the different components of our life is like a chain, right? And like we say, the strength of a chain is the weakest link. So if there's any part that is weak, that's the easiest place that you can be broken, right? And when we talk as Christians, we talk about the devil. The devil is a predictor. A predictor will never attack your strength, right? If there's anybody that's gunning for you that wants to bring you down, they will never attack your strength. They will always attack your weakness. That is what a predictor does. A predictor does not attack strength. A predictor attacks weakness. Even though a predictor is big, right? And that predictor can, with its strength, win the battle. It doesn't take the risk of fighting against the strength of its victim. He always looks for weakness, right? Because when he looks for weakness, then it's sure to win, right? So you'll see when a lion wants to attack, he looks for the weakest, and he looks for the one that is alone, that is not moving with other people. So two things the lion will look for, or a predictor will normally look for, is the weakest and the one that is alone, right? And the same way in our lives, if the enemy is going to attack us, if life is going to attack us, or if life is going to test us, life will not test our strength. Life will test our weakness. In what area are we weak, right? So when we look at our life like a chain, it's up to us to know the areas where we're lacking, we're slacking, and do something about it. It's the same way we talk about the SWOT analysis, like we've emphasized all through our time together. The SWOT, SWOT. S stands for strength. W stands for weakness. O stands for opportunities. T stands for threats, right? Internal to you are your strengths and weaknesses. External to you are the opportunities and the threats, right? You don't start from external. Life starts from the inside out. A winner starts from the inside out. It's first not about the opportunities and the threats. It's first about your strengths and your weaknesses. It's about you. What do you have to offer? What is it that you have to give? What is it that you have to fight with? Right? That's where you start from, your strength, your weaknesses. Then when you're done with that, you now look at into the environment. What are the opportunities I can harness? What are the things I can easily tap into? And what are the things I need to be watchful for that can easily get me? Right? So when you're looking at your life, you're looking at your life as a chain. And you're looking at where is my strength, where is my weakness, and where are the opportunities and the threats that I can tap into. When you're looking at it in terms of We can also, that's one way of looking at it. We're looking at lead in terms of your tribes, right? Not just inside of you now. We're not going into not just the environment, but the next level outside in terms of your tribe, the people that you work with, your associates, right? So you have your tribes, people that relate with you, that gel with you in one form or the other. But inside that tribe is also what we'll call your team, right? So there is a circle of people that congregate around you. You have linkages to in one form or the other. We call those your tribe, right? But within your tribe is what we call your team, right? People that you have influence, right? You have influence upon, you are connected to more tightly. Those are the ones you can call on in the day of trouble. Those are the ones you call your friends, your core friends. Every other person might be your associate, but there's something you call your friend, people you can depend on, people you can call on, right? That is your team, not just your tribe, right? Your tribe, people that are connected to you in one form or the other. Your team, people that you can call on, right? The strength of that team is the weakest link, right? So don't rest on your horse on something that you have not tested. Like we typically will say, faith that is not been tested cannot be used, right? So don't go and call in a day on trouble on someone you think is your friend, whereas it's just a parasite, right? We look at it from a business standpoint. We're looking at your employees, right? Right. You need to know what the task you've given to them. You need to know their strengths, their weaknesses, right? And know how you tap into their strength, know how you help them with their weaknesses. You don't put the right person in the wrong place or put the wrong person in a sensitive position, right? Because the strength of each one, which is who are the linkages between you and the profit or the objective you're trying to achieve. The strength of each one could potentially be the weakness of your organization, your company. And we'll talk more about that, right? So in starting here, Bethenny talks about the fact that your life is like a chain, right? It says the idea that you are only as good as your weakest link is not limited business. Look at your whole life and find the weak links. Your grocer, doctor, banker, dentist, the people who tutor your kids, your plumber, neighbors, kids, and all of that. Just talking in general about your workforce, right? It could be business, it could also be private. See who you need. See who is strong. See who you can depend on, who you can call on, and you'll get the answer, right? And work on, where you feel there's a gap, you need to work on it. If this person it can't be, because you want to do all of that when you don't have trouble, you don't have urgency. Because when you are in need, in dear need, you probably don't have a time to make those corrections, right? And it could be a big loss if the person you thought could do something is unable to rise to that location. It could mean missing an opportunity, right? It could also mean being a threat, right? It could mean losing a big deal, right? But that all for that. Let's continue in that same thought pattern. I'm going to bring up a slides for today, and we're just going to roll along with that. All right, I believe you can see my slides, and we'll go in straight away. The book, like you've seen my copy. All right, this is what I'm thinking will be our next book, The Good Life. Lessons from the world's longest scientific study of happiness. All right, I think it'll be a good study about happiness, right? It's called The Good Life, and it's a study of happiness, what makes it, right? So I think this might be the book we're going to do in July to close the year, The Good Life. If you can get your copy. It's by Robert Waldinger and Mark Schultz. It's a new book that just been released. I just heard about it in the last 1 month. Let me see if I can grasp the year it was released. If I can do that past, fine. I mean, when I mean the year, I mean the month. It just came out like this month. I'm just trying to confirm that because I saw it and I ordered it. Copyright 2023 for sure. They don't show the month, but it came out, I believe, this month. All right, great. So that's what I think we're going to read next. And it has topics like what makes a good life, why relationships matter, relationships on the winding road of life, social fitness, keeping your relationship in good shape, attention to relationships, your best investment, and all of that. Actually, so we'll see how that goes. But get a copy, that's great. The Good Life by Robert Waldinger. All righty. Having done that, let's go ahead and go into the meat of what we have to share here, talking about chapter 7. All right. So again, we're talking about how you are only as good as your weakest link. You're only as good as the solidity of the things you're depending on to support you and to make you whole, right? So we'll start with it, what she says here says, avoid the impulse to micromanage. A lot of people, there are people that love to micromanage. And I'm just going to be straight with you. And this I read somewhere and I believe it. If you find someone micromanaging, the problem is not with the person they are micromanaging. The problem is with themselves. They cannot trust themselves. They're out of control. So the lack of control in their own person is what they are transferring to those that are working for them, right? Micromanaging comes from a sense of insecurity. It is a weakness, not a strength. When you find a manager or a leader micromanaging, that manager has issues. It's not the employee that has issues. It's the manager, leader, business owner that has issues, right? Because micromanaging is a weakness, not a strength, right? It comes from a place or person that lacks control in him or herself. And then that's been transferred to others, right? Strength is the ability to delegate and trust. Delegate and trust, right? Right. Delegate and trust. When you think you are the only person that can do it, you're going to die before your time or you will not grow, right? You can only grow to the level of your delegation. How big you can grow is the level that you are able to delegate, because again, like we said last week, we're all limited to 24 hours. Delegation is what extends our 24 hours beyond the normal 24 hours. I can gain more hours in a day by being able to delegate, right? First of all, I'm able to acquire other people's 24 hours by paying salaries and wages. Then I'm then able to delegate to them to gain more hours through them, right? For as long as I can delegate and trust them, I gain their hours. If I delegate and don't trust them, I still have to micromanage them, right? I have not gained the hours. I've just wasted my money in paying salary and wages. I might as well do it myself, right? So micromanaging is a weakness, right? You have to learn to delegate and trust, right? Obviously, that doesn't mean that everybody you delegate to will do well, right? You give opportunity to growth, and the person refuses to grow, you change the person out, right? You have to give the time to adjust, to grow to that position. If the person does not or is not willing to, then get someone else to do it. But never give in to micromanaging, because you will not go far doing it. right? And it goes on and she says that you have to identify the problem, right? Pull it out at the root and find a solution without taking on the extra work yourself. So if someone is not doing what you have assigned the person to do, you need to be able to find what is wrong, what is amiss, right? And help and try work to fill that gap rather than replacing the person with yourself, right? You're either going to help that person grow to the level the person needs to grow to, or if the person refuses to, you change the person out to someone who's willing, ready, and qualified to, right? So you must be able to delegate wisely, right? Empower people to take ownership of certain areas, right? And that's a problem. I used to be in an organization, and that was a problem. That organization had everything it needed to grow, but inability to trust, inability to delegate, right? So everybody was confused as to what their job was and to what they were empowered to do. People had job titles, but there was no empowerment, so there was a whole lot of confusion, and therefore they could not grow, right? They think it's 1,001 other things, but the real issue was an inability to trust, inability to delegate, right? And they could not grow. They were stunted because of that, right? So you need to accept responsibility, and solve problems autonomously if you want your business and your employees to succeed and grow. So you delegate, you empower, right? To take ownership of the area of delegation, right? And allow the person to do it. And that's also for people like me, we used to be a perfectionist, right? I love to cross my T and dot my I, but I had to then accept that everybody's not like me. And I had to be willing to accept what people are able to do at the time T in their life and help them to grow, right? But while they're growing, I need to accept them, right? It doesn't have to be to my standard, right? For it to be good, right? I need to be able to accept people where they are as on the way to where they need to be, right? And, I had to accept that, because not accepting that means I have to micromanage. And when I micromanage, the person I'm micromanaging will not grow, because first I'm telling the person I don't trust that person, right? People will only grow to the level you trust them with. If I don't trust people to rise, they will not rise. If I entrust them with something and I trust them to rise, they will rise to that level, right? That's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's just the way things are, all right? So in doing this means that we have to be open and willing to train people, right? To train people no matter the level of experience, right? So training comes from different angles, right? So people can be knowledgeable in one thing, and that pretty much just gives them the basic IQ, right? You need to train them on your walk, in your way, in your culture, in your value, right? To line up with your vision, your mission, right? Pretty much when people come out of school, right? What they learn is pretty much having the IQ to do certain things, whether it be in a technical line, in terms of art, social science, or whatever. What they do does not have to be limited to what they study, because what they studied only gave them the IQ to be able to then exercise themselves. So when they come to work for you, they're not coming to replicate what they studied. They're coming to join hands with you, right, to pursue the mission of your organization, to push towards the vision of your organization, right, to embody the value, the beliefs of your organization, the culture of your organization. All of those they need to learn, right? So they're not just going to catch it on the first day. First of all, when you're recruiting, you're recruiting people that you see have a tendency to imbibe all of this, right? If they don't have a tendency, no matter how qualified they are the wrong people, right? I mean, we started in my company, in my company, where I do full time, we're talking about people are the most important asset, right? But that's not fully true. People are not the most important asset in an organization. The right people are, not just people, the right people. So when you're employing, you're looking for the right people. And to know the right people, they have to be people that you believe or you can see that they are amenable to your vision, your mission, your belief system, your culture, and the values that your organization imbibes. Otherwise, they are going to be a mismatch. The right people are the ones that are amenable to what you're trying to achieve. They don't have to know they don't have to be there as at the time of employment, but you see that they have the basic foundation that will push them in that direction. And therefore, you train them, you help them to come to that level, right? For instance, for our poultry that we're building, I've already identified the kind of people I want to employ there. They're not necessarily going to be people that know about poultry, but they're people that have the basic attitude, personality that I can work with, that pretty much flow with the direction of a company that we are building, right? So we will train them about poultry, but I cannot make them who they are not. So I need who they are, and I can give them the ability to do the work. I can make a person have the attitude that I need, right? Not my training ground for that. But I go employ good people, right people, then I can give them the tools they need to do the work, right? So training involves teaching someone your company's language, right? Your company's language, your company's way, language way, right? Don't assume they know it. They can't know it because they just come in new. It's your job to teach them, right? So we need to get people in the way. It's just like Disney will teach us workers, right? What it means to work at Disney. It's a requirement because Disney is not just like any other company. Disney is about making people happy, right? And it's not about the way the employee feels or not. So they give the special training to new employees so that they can catch into the Disney way, right? For us also as a firm, though we're not as big as Disney, there is a way by which we work, right? So we have new farmers here, and my farm manager knows that. We talk about the way we work all the time, right? I've not met one-on-one our farm workers, but they are amenable to the way we work just by what they're doing already. I look forward to meeting with them, for as long as they stay with us. It will be for us to sell to them the way we work, right? Otherwise, there'll be conflict, right? There's no conflict right now because their personality pretty much flow with the way we work. But we need to enforce that. We need to ensure that, right? And that's something we've done. My farm worker has done, and we will do, right? So every business has a unique approach and its own lingo. So it's important that if you have a business that you help people, come in line with it, so that then both of you, can two agree, except can two work together except they agree. So you're pretty much coming to a place of agreement so you can work together, right? So teach in a constructive way, right? So that the training connects the person to the job and to your company, its culture, and its communication style, right? So it pretty much, it's like I said, it's pretty much a sales speech, right? Which the right person will easily buy, right? Because you've employed with that in mind. And then you made an employment mistake. You need to let the person go, right? Great. So, so train your people to be proactive, rather than reactive, right? So part of the training of employees is for them to feel comfortable, feel a part of the company, and run it as if it's their own personal one. So they're not just leaving all the decisions, right, to upper management, in terms of our farm workers. I don't expect them to be leaving all the decisions to the farm manager. They come with some level of experience, right, in working farm. So we want them to come with that level of experience and help us, right? And if they see something in the future coming that will be harmful or will not add value to us, we expect them to be able to tell us, right? So everyone in our company, is the owner of the company, right? They own their job, part of it, and for that they are well remunerated for it, right? So yeah, and for our farm workers, they've come up with great ideas, right? I see new things being done, that either to we've not done before, but then we need to encourage that, right? So whether it's a business or real estate, all right, you often end up throwing good money after bad if you don't make quality investments in systems, staff, operations, and material, right? So when you spend the money it takes to get all of these working, right? So right. So we do. My farm manager have never missed a payment, even though we're not making money right now. Well, I can confidently say I've never missed a payment, even though we're in an investing phase. But it's goodwill. It's part of the goodwill to make him feel at home, make him feel a part of what we're doing. Same thing for our farm workers. Never missed a payment. Never owing anybody any money. Right, everyone is well paid, right? Because they need to be happy to do the work right. So invest in whatever it needs to be invested in. I would help to move everyone forward towards the goal that the company has set forth, right? Yeah, you need to spend, you need to sow to be able to get. And getting sowing relay it's a faith work, right? Because you're not getting immediately. Right, we put in so much money into our farm, right? And it's because we have faith that we'll make it back, right? So whether it's business or real estate or relationship, sometimes you have to stop and think about how much you're going to invest in something, right? As I read that, I think about our poultry, right? I mean, we're putting so much money there so far, and there's still yet so much to do, right there. And I look at how much more we need to put there to get it operational. I mean, that runs through my mind all the time because I don't want to run out of money and we're not able to finish it. So we cannot then start making money and we're stuck, So I reevaluate that all the time, to make sure that we're able to finish, get it to a place where it starts making money. Because when it starts making money, then it can start paying for itself, So I kind of think about that, but so far so good that there is resource available to close it, that yeah. So and that's part of the links to me for the businesses, the source of fund, right? Have the people also, we need to find workers, and we got better ones that we've got in prior years. Have my farm manager, the link in our business. One of the things we missed in the prior years is getting marketers, getting people to receive our goods at the right price. We missed that in our first year, 2021, 2022. And here in 2023, we're all set to do better. And we're already doing better. I mean, we're already bringing products here to Lagos and selling. And we have opportunities opening up to us left, right, and center also to do better. That in our personal lives, we could also take that away, and I put a lot into my emotional bank account of my friends, and that I'm there as much as I can be, but also when they are in a position to do something that I need, I call on them, right? So there's a free flow for me in and out, right? I don't hold back in drawing on the emotional bank account with my friends because I also generously invest in it, right? So I'm not a parasite, but I know I can do everything I need to do myself. So I don't keep myself. I don't try to do things. I know people that can do better. Just as much as I help people to do things they can do better, I also pull on people that can do things better than I can, you know. And it's got to be give and take. There's got to be reciprocity, reciprocity about it. Otherwise, someone is going to feel used, and that's part of strengthening the links in your life. I hope you got something from all of this, but that's chapter 7. There's a quote here that, Bethenny puts, teach people to fish and they will thrive, and that goes for your workers, right? It's not about micromanaging and do it for them. Let them grow to learn how to do it. Like my farm manager, his issue is knowing the commercial part, the business part of it all. But it's getting to learn. I'm an open book, I show him and tell him things I'm doing. And that's helping him also, helping him to help me and helping him to help himself also, But that's all I have. And I don't have any of my people here to bring up questions that might have stretched things out. So that's all I got. I'm going to stop here today. We'll be back next week with chapter 8. And chapter 8 title is know your circle. Keep your circle tight, right? Just like what we spoke about. I'll call it keep your team tight, keep your tribe tight, right? You want to get rid of all the strangers. You don't want to find another stranger when you are in dire need. But we'll go into that next week. All right, we're going to stop here. Thanks for spending this time with me. Thanks for coming around. God bless you. Have a great week ahead. Put in your best, right? That's the only way you can get all that God has for you. Don't be slack. All right. God, life was not made for slack people. Life was made for intentional people. To get your worth out of life, you got to be intentional. So go after it. God bless you. See you here next week. Bye-bye.